Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start with a little informal survey before I dig into it here. And how many people in the group have heard of geocaching before you came to the presentation? Okay, about half. And how many have actually tried geocaching before? Oh, a handful, that's great. And how many people refuse to raise their hand no matter what question I ask? Oh, there's always one or two. Yeah. So why geocache? Geocache takes you to places you've never been before. People who live in a certain area know the scenic vistas, the interesting historic sites, places with natural beauty, places that are just really interesting, and they'll often hide a geocache there. So when you travel there and you find a geocache, you often find a neat lookout. Like for example, I had to do a bit of a scramble because I was expecting us to go to the Virgin Islands, and then I found out, like you did, that we're going to Curacao instead. And so yesterday I put together a quick look at the internet and found a cache a short walk from our pier in Curacao, and I'm going to show you how to find that without using a GPS or a smartphone or anything else, because none of you, I'm sure, are equipped that way for today. So, but that geocache happens to have a nice view of the harbor, I can tell from the location. And so a lot of geocaches take you there. For example, if I hadn't been geocaching, I wouldn't have found, with my wife, a spectacular view of Hong Kong Harbor. And I wouldn't have known that when I was in Times Square in New York City, that only a few steps away there's this really cool waterfall. Okay, so why might you enjoy geocaching? If you like a quest, you'd like to have some fun, you'd like to explore and see new places. I think most of us would be on a cruise ship if that wasn't something we were interested in doing. You enjoy meeting new people and making new friendships. There's a big social aspect to geocaching. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of my best friends I met through geocaching. And you meet people from all over the world. You like solving puzzles. There's a special kind of geocache that's all about puzzles. But even regular geocaches, it's kind of a puzzle to figure out where somebody has hidden it. You may like, it may be someone who likes a solo adventure, or maybe something you do as a group. It's fun to geocache with a friend or a couple of friends. You certainly find them a lot faster when you've got several sets of eyes looking. And it's also got health benefits. It's kind of a walk with a purpose. If I'm on a business trip somewhere, I'll always pull out my smartphone and check and see where the geocaches are near the hotel I'm in. And rather than sit in the bar and have a drink or sit in my room and watch television, I'll go out for a walk. And I'll usually find 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 geocaches near the hotel. The first day that I was geocaching, I mentioned this, I had the GPS from my wife, and I went out with my son at the time. He was about 15, and we decided Christmas afternoon to go out and look for some geocaches near the house. The first one was really easy. It was basically a pile of branches on the ground. It looked sort of obviously like something was hidden there, and sure enough, under there's a metal can. Opened it up, and it has all kinds of stuff in it. So yay, we found our first one. So emboldened, we thought we'd go for this one, even though it was ranked a little harder in difficulty. And I'll show you the video of how you find this one. Now, we looked for this one. We spent about an hour at this location, and we couldn't find it. We gave up. We went home. I checked online. Somebody else had found it that same morning. So we went back out again, and my son is the one that actually found it. It tells you that you're not supposed to climb the tower. The coordinates take you to the base of this transmission tower leg. And we looked at the concrete, we looked at the metal, we looked in the bushes, we looked in the dirt. We could not find anything. We were just completely stumped on where it was. And quite by accident, my son touched one of these bolts. Extremely close up there. And we'll see what somebody did. This was a really remarkable feat of engineering. The way this tower was designed, they only used 2 bolts, not 3. And so this geocache hider found another bolt that was exactly the same in size, color, weathering, identical to the ones that were there, and cut the ends off, put magnets inside them, inscribed the longitude of the next location on one and the latitude on the other one. And it was brilliant engineering. I was really impressed. And I'm actually an engineer by trade originally, so this really, really impressed me. I thought, I got to get into this hobby. One that I hid in my neighborhood in Scottsdale, Arizona. I took a PVC tube and I painted it the same color as the telephone pole, put a spring mechanism at the bottom, and to find it, you got to pull down on the latch, and it flies out the top, and you catch it. And some people say they had to find it 3 or 4 times in a row. Had fun finding it, and there you can see the log sheet in that example. So what if you can't find it? Well, there's several things you can do. You can check the cache page and see if there's a hint. Sometimes it'll be a hint like it's magnetic, for example. That tells you a lot. Or maybe they'll say, short people will have difficulty with this cache. Or maybe you can expand your search coordinates. Sometimes your GPS takes you here, but maybe the real place is hidden is over here. The coordinates are off a little bit. Or maybe you want to get someone else to help you look. The more people, the better. You can also look at the prior logs. In fact, for the Kershaw cache that we're going to find the first stop we make, I took a look at the previous logs, and some people had helpfully posted photographs, and that's what I'm going to show you. Some of the photographs they posted that helped find where the actual location is. Here's another one. I got permission from the owner of this establishment to place a cache on their property. And I told people in the description it's not part of the gas line fixture, leave that alone. And it's not in the bushes, you don't need to pop through the bushes. And the other hint I provided was that the container cost me $4.79 at Home Depot. So where is it? Sometimes you see these nano containers stuck on the end of a hinge, painted the same color as the hinge, or the same size. That's also a tricky way to do it. This is not a doorbell. This is a geocache. I got the doorbell mechanism, I put magnets on it, put the log sheet inside, and just magnetically stuck it to the frame. Again, not a cache you want to try to find on your first trip geocaching. So what if you can't find it? Well, there's several things you can do. You can check the cache page and see if there's a hint. Sometimes it'll be a hint like it's magnetic, for example. That tells you a lot. Or maybe they'll say, short people will have difficulty with this cache. Or maybe you can expand your search coordinates. Sometimes your GPS takes you here, but maybe the real place is hidden is over here. The coordinates are off a little bit. Or maybe you want to get someone else to help you look. The more people, the better. You can also look at the prior logs. In fact, for the Kershaw cache that we're going to find the first stop we make, I took a look at the previous logs, and some people had helpfully posted photographs, and that's what I'm going to show you. Some of the photographs they posted that help find where the actual location is. You can look at the prior logs to see those. And if not, you can call someone who lives in the area, ask them for a hint, another geocacher, or you can simply log a DNF, did not find, and then send an email to the cache owner saying, how do I find it? I tried and I couldn't find it. And almost everyone's really happy to help you find something if you give it a try. Another example of a puzzle cache. For this one, you have to get the DVD or rent it from Netflix or something, and watch the movie, and then you'll have questions you have to answer. Like, for example, you'll find Jason Bourne finds when he opens a safe deposit box, he has a Platinum American Express, and B is the fourth digit in the card number. So you got to hit pause, you got to hit the number, write it down, and then go on to the next thing. How many people are killed in the movie? What's the license plate of the taxi he takes to go from here to there, the third digit, things like that. And then you get all the answers. When you got the answers, you go and find the geocache. And puzzle caches are much more difficult than traditional caches because of this extra step. And some people love puzzles, and people that focus on those exclusively. Some of the ones are extremely difficult. So where are they? There are over 3 million of these things around the world. And I got some stats here. The US has the most with about 1 million right now. Germany comes second with 300,000. Canada with 175,000. The UK, 140,000. Sweden at 70. France at 60,000. Australia, 48,000. The Czech Republic at 35,000. And Austria rounds out the top 10 with 30,000. You can also find them on Easter Island, in Oman, Andorra, Antarctica, Macau, Vanuatu, Brunei, Tonga, the Sandwich Islands, really obscure places. There are geocaches. First stop we make is at Curacao, and there's where our cruise ship is going to dock. We saw this picture from the ground level earlier in the destination presentation. So we'll walk out here, clear these buildings, and then you walk along this area. In fact, this is the way he recommended you go. There's a bridge you cross to get into the town over here. And when you go through here, there's a place called the Riff Fort. I've never been here before, but did the research. And when you get to the Riff Fort and you climb or take an elevator up 4 steps, 4 levels, on the 4th level, you'll have a picture like this. Thank you, some geocacher who posted this photograph for me. And there's a stair right there, and there's a magnetic key holder with a piece of paper or log sheet in it, under the bottom step at the 4th level. And that's what we have to look for. There's the actual container itself. So here's somebody from Germany who signed it in June of this year. Somebody from Louisville, Kentucky that signed it, June 13, 17. That's an example of a recent log in that thing. It was found as recently as 2 days ago. I'm sure it's still active. So that's the first place we'll be, and I've got a paper handout. Those who are interested and want to try to find these, you have to memorize all this stuff. I've got a handout I'll give anybody who's interested at the back when we're all done. And St. Lucia, I haven't been here either, but there's going to be a geocache. You can see where the ship is, and as soon as you walk out of the ship, there's this green grassy area with this funny metal thing. Somebody has hidden a magnetic container inside. You basically reach up inside underneath, and there's a magnetic container there with a log sheet. You sign that, and you'll have credit for the country of St. Lucia. Most geocachers have only ever cached in one country. You'll have 5 or 6 after this cruise. Okay, so to end up here, I'd just like to say that hope you enjoyed this introduction to a really fascinating hobby of taking interesting places all around the world. I'm going to take questions at the back on the port side, right up here up the steps, and hand out paper copies to anybody who wants to try to find some on this cruise. Tomorrow I'm going to switch topics completely and talk about my real passion, which is astronomy. I'm going to be talking tomorrow about the solar system, and you'll learn why Pluto got demoted, it's not a planet anymore, and also the very latest information on Planet 9, the search for Planet 9, which is a real planet past Pluto. And I've also got some really amazing pictures and video clips I'm going to share. So I hope to see you there for that as well. Thanks very much.